Welcome everybody, and today we're taking a look at the fourth film in the Adventure Calls Karl at CCC box set from Eureka as part of the Masters of Cinema line. So the fourth film is 1965's Through Wild Kurdistan. So this is directed by Franz Josef Gottlieb, who also did The Curse of the Yellow Snake, The Racetrack Murders, and The Phantom of Soho, which have been part of a previous box set from Eureka. So this is an adventure film clocking in at 103 minutes long. So the likes of Lex Barker, Marie Versini, Ralph Walter, Dieter Bosch, and Chris Howland all return, although Marie Versini is the only one playing a new character, although the rest are returning characters. We've also got Gustavo Rojo, who was also in Old Shatterhand, although in a much smaller role than this one. He was also in The Death Ray of Dr. Mabusa and The Valley of Gwangi. And finally, we've got Werner Peters, who I've seen in 12 other films. So he was in the 3 directed by Gottlieb that I've already mentioned, but he was also in The Blum Affair, The Invisible Dr. Mabusa, Scotland Yard Hunts Dr. Mabusa, The Thousand Eyes of Dr. Mabusa, and The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. So yeah, he's been in several different box sets that we've looked at so far from Eureka, as The Blum Affair was also part of the Wreck and Ruin box set, I believe. So yeah, he's one of the few in this box set that have actually been involved in more than 2 box sets before. So after dealing with the shoot in the Balkans, Kara Ben Nemzi receives a firman, which is a precious passport, from the Padishah, or also known as an Ottoman Sultan, before he continues his travels through Kurdistan. The son of Sheikh Mohammed Emin has been captured by the Turkish governor of Mosul for resisting water seizure by his Turkish troops. Kara ultimately then takes charge of the rescue. So, although this does benefit from a shorter running time, livelier pacing, and slightly better action over its predecessor, it is also ultimately held back by some of the same issues that plagued that same prior effort. So that means that the plot, again, not particularly interesting. It's nothing we've never seen before, and yeah, it does very little in the way of unique aspects to really help set it apart. The humour, once again, largely doesn't work, although I'd say there's probably 1 or 2 more laughs in this one than there was in the last one. And the numerous characters also make the plot rather unfocused, which is something I didn't really mention with the last film, but again, we get numerous characters in this, and yeah, it just doesn't really lend the film any weight. Plus, it also just makes it feel unfocused throughout as well, so it's, you know, jumping between these characters, and yeah, I just wish it was a little bit more focused on a central few characters rather than several. Thankfully, though, like I said, the action in this is not just better, but also more spread out, while also being slightly more fun, especially when it comes to a final fight scene that is one-on-one towards the end. The women in this also have more agency, I feel, than they did in the previous film. They actually basically rescue our lead in the end with this, and yeah, certainly capable of dealing with some of the enemy as well. There is some decent tension, the production is solid, and it is well shot. That said, the stunning locales and the rousing score of prior entries, however, do not return, as yeah, there's nowhere near as good looking landscapes in this one, which is probably kind of predictable because it is set in more of a desert kind of area than in the previous ones, where we had rivers and waterfalls and huge canyons and yeah, really rather lush, you know, vegetation and whatnot. But in this, it's a lot of sand, a couple of mountains here and there, but not much else. So yeah, that is a little bit unfortunate. So it's unfortunately also going to get just 3 out of 5 again, like the shoot did. These two have been really disappointing in comparison to the first 2 on the first disc. So yeah, I am not particularly fond of the character that Lex Barker is playing in this one. But hopefully things do pick up with the 5th film in the Kingdom of the Silver Lion, which is the only film in this collection that has a disc on its own. So maybe that is an indication of its quality. I don't know, but yeah. So once again, with this film, we get a 4K restoration of the original camera negative undertaken by CCC Film, which is the case for all of the films in this box set. So that's a 1080p HD presentation. We once again get an introduction to the film by Sir Christopher Frayling, author of Spaghetti Westerns, Cowboys and Europeans, from Karl May to Sergio Leone. Yeah, but that's it in terms of extras that are specific to this, outside of a trailer and um, the archival making of documentary, which is sort of links to this one as well. But outside of that, yeah, only really a trailer to go alongside it, outside of the restoration. So it's got no commentary with this. There's no English dub either, unfortunately, which is a little bit of a shame. Because I know some people can't stand subtitles for one reason or another. But yeah, not particularly extra heavy this disc in general, to be honest, because there wasn't even that much with the shoot, to be honest, either. So, yeah, ultimately though, this and the previous film have been really rather disappointing and a bit of a letdown in comparison to the previous two. They aren't awful, more than watchable, and do have their more than competent areas to them as well. But compared to the first two, which had really really good central two characters to it, with Shatterhand and Winnetou, this one, even though Lex Barker is decent, I just don't think his counterpart, played by Ralph Walter, is all that enjoyable. He's too much of a buffoon. He's constantly reiterating his very, very long name, and yeah, he's just nowhere near as engaging or as impactful as Winnetou, played by Pierre Brice, was. So, yeah, that's ultimately what lets this down outside of the uninteresting plot and at times the pacing not being the best, particularly with the shoot. So, yeah, but at least this is 15 minutes or so shorter than the shoot, so it's not sticking around for too long. And yeah, like I said, it does have slightly livelier pacing to also make up for any less than interesting parts of the plot. So, even though I've given it the same score as the shoot, I would say it's a little bit better, but not enough to really bump it up by an extra half or even a star over that one. So, yeah, but still, hopefully, In the Kingdom of the Silver Lion gets better, because it is the third and final film with Cara Ben Nemzi. But if not, then we do have two more that are, again, another character that Lex Barker is playing. So, yeah, either way, hopefully the box set picks up at some point. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen through Wild Kurdistan before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.